Hey y'all, my name is Serena and this is Serena's Art Adventures. Welcome to the channel. I want to preface by saying that this video I am doing a crochet kit review. This store owner, which is a one woman owned store, did send these kits to me for review. However, she did not pay for like a sponsorship or anything. There's not anything I have to say about these kits. So I am going to give you an honest review of these kits. The first thing I want to say is these are very affordable kits. I'm online on her website right now. They are $7 a piece, which is very affordable. And she has other hobby kits on there as well. It's not just yarn. There's some paint kits and some kids learning kits. There's a kit called Action Reaction, and it shows the domino effect. And it's a $20 kit. Normally goes for $40. There were some other Action Reaction kits that are on sale for as little as $8 right now. The website name is ohhobbies.com. That is ohhobbies.com. Now, when you buy from this website, you are buying from a single woman owned business, which is fantastic. I love to support small businesses, and I really hope that she gets to grow. She has embroidery kits, crochet kits, kids educational kits, and much more. I highly suggest you go onto our website and see all of the things that she has to offer. Because she was so gracious to send this to me, I wanted to make sure to put this portion in the very beginning of the video so everybody knows where the kits came from. The two crochet kits that she sent me are this Boba, Sarah the Boba Tee, and Marshy the Smore. These two are the two that I would have chosen. I may have also potentially chosen the Peas in a Pod one, but these two were definitely two of my favorites. So I'm so stoked that those are the two that I got, to be honest. I hope that you go and show her store some love, whether you just go there and check it out or whether you purchase something or share it with your friends and family. Let's all support these small businesses that are trying to make it in this world today. So now to what the video is really about, which is these wonderful kits. This is a very cute kit. I'm very excited to make these. We have some stuffing, some eyeballs, a stitch marker, and a darning needle. We've got a little bit of black embroidery. I'm sure that is going to come into the little facial detail. So the little black embroidery is going to be used to make like the mouth. So not a lot of that included, but not a lot of that is needed, as you can see. And then we have all three of the colors of yarn that we need. So we've got white, brown, and tan. Then we've got a crochet hook, a plastic crochet hook. Not my favorite for how inexpensive the kit was. I'm glad it comes with everything you need, with the exception of scissors. You will still need scissors. It does show here on the package everything that it comes with. Now we're going to move on to the instructions. And they even show you how to complete some of the stitches. I don't want to include too much of the pattern in here. If you don't learn best using pictures, you can look up a ton of these types of stitches online as well. There are short and long form tutorials. I have some short tutorials on some of these stitches on my channel, and a lot of people also have a lot of long form tutorials on different stitches as well. So if you need to learn any of these stitches, you can feel free to just like look it up on YouTube and see it in action in a video if you need to as well. And they let you know what all of the abbreviations mean as well. So you should have everything you need even as a beginner to do this kit. I am a little bit more advanced, and I will say as a beginner, I definitely enjoyed video tutorials before moving on to written tutorials. So I would highly suggest that if you do struggle a little bit with written tutorials, that maybe you look at some video crochet tutorials before starting so that you can understand the basics of crochet. Now you have two options when you're working from the skein like this. You can try to find the center of the skein, which is what I usually try to do, or you can work from the outside, but I don't usually have a yarn bowl since I'm constantly traveling on the truck. So we're gonna start from here, and I'm just gonna give you updates periodically because this is gonna take me some time to complete. So I'm gonna get started. Personally, when I do amigurumi, I do like to do a bigger size yarn and a bigger size hook and whatnot, but I'm going to use the kit as it comes, and I will let you know as I go what I think of everything. So it has us start with white marshmallow, and I'm using the crochet hook that it came with to work this marshmallow up and following the instructions. Now I'm having some issues that I kind of wanted to share here, where as I insert this hook and pull, this yarn is sometimes catching on this hook, making it really difficult to pull through these stitches sometimes. Like I'm getting a little bit of splitting and whatnot with this plastic hook. These plastic hooks just really drag on the yarn, and they really pull the yarn apart really bad. So Not great quality, and I kind of expected that, so I'm not surprised. I would like to get this review out for this wonderful store owner this week. So, and able to kind of speed up the process a little bit, I'm going to move to a 3mm metal crochet hook and try again. So the smallest hook I was able to find in my metal hook collection is a 3.25mm. I put it on an ergonomic handle so that I can work a little bit more quickly and efficiently, and hopefully with less wrist pain. So I'm gonna go ahead and work it up with this right here, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, y'all, so I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. I have changed locations from this morning, and I crocheted in the car for a little while. I was able to finish this marshmallow. I was getting pretty close to playing yarn chicken, but did end up having plenty of yarn at the end of this project, even though I went up to a size 3.25 hook from a size 3. We still had enough to complete this. And then we have the chocolate drizzle, and we had plenty of yarn with plenty left over. And then now we are working, thank you, where was it at?
My car.
Now we are working on this little graham cracker, and we have to make a top and a bottom that get seamed together, and then another top and a bottom for, so like a top and a bottom for the top and a top and a bottom for the bottom, because you crochet 2 of these panels together to make the graham cracker. And we do have lots of this yarn left, so it's looking promising that we're going to have enough yarn to finish the graham cracker. So as far as having enough materials to finish this kit, it does look like we have plenty of materials to finish this kit and plenty of stuffing as well. It does say to stuff the marshmallow after you're done crocheting it. I don't want to stuff the marshmallow until I start attaching the chocolate drizzle to the top of it, because I don't want the stuff to just floof out everywhere. And then we still have to add the embroidery and the eyeballs to one of the sides. This here was a factory knot that I decided to just work in, and then I was going to put this as the back so that this shows up as the front, and then I shouldn't have to cut into it or anything. So that's why I didn't do anything with this right here. This is just a factory knot, but overall, as I continue to work with this, the stiff definition is getting a little better, and I'm getting a little bit faster at working each row up as I get used to working with this yarn. Since this kit doesn't show you how to embroider the mouth, it just says embroider the mouth and use the front of the cover as a guide on how to embroider the mouth. I thought I would show you guys how I embroidered the mouth. I did use the front as a guide, but I have done some amigurumi myself in the past, so I kind of have an idea as to how to embroider this. For somebody who is a crocheter but maybe hasn't done a lot of amigurumi, they might not have known how to form the mouth. So hopefully this, watching me do this, is able to help you a little bit. All I did on the back, once this was all the way that I wanted it to look in the front, I just tied it in the back, and I left the black embroidery inside of the stuffy, and then I just added stuffing in there later and tried to hide the black embroidery into the stuffing so it wasn't showing through on the bottom, though it doesn't really matter much since on the bottom you do end up putting another little graham cracker on there. But yeah, coming along very nicely and starting to look very cute with the cute little face details on the front. I just love this little toy. For the little chocolate, I made sure to leave a long tail so that I could whip stitch the entire thing together all the way around. I did leave probably about 3 foot of yarn, which was more than what I needed, but I wanted to make sure that I had plenty. So I am whip stitching the single crochets together, and then when I come to the drippy parts, I want to make sure to tack those down. That is what they explained in the instructions. They just said tack it down. So I'm just kind of doing a more traditional sewing job to the drips to bring them down and to have them tacked down onto the little white marshmallow. And then as I work my way around to where the single crochets are, what I am doing here is I am whip stitching the project together. So I'm going up through the front and then through the brown, so I'm going through both the front and back loop in the white and then in the brown, and then kind of pulling it tight every few stitches, and then going back up through the white and then through the brown every time. So hopefully this explanation along with this little bit of video tutorial helps you with how to whip stitch this part together. As you can see, it does match what it looks like on the front cover there with the whip stitches. I'm going to continue this method where I get to the drips. I'm going to kind of sew it in, and when I get to the single crochets, I'm going to whip stitch it together all the way around. This is what the front part looks like once I am done stitching this part up, and then I'll show you what the back side looks like as I continue further. Once I had 3 of the 4 sides sewed together all the way around is when I decided to start stuffing this toy, and look how it doubled in size as soon as it got untaped. That's awesome. There's definitely more stuffing here than what I needed. I started by just shoving as much of it as I could in there because I wanted it to be nice and squishy, just like a marshmallow would be. So once I had about the amount that I wanted in there, I just tore off the rest and put it back in the package to save it for a future project. And then I really got to stuffing it in there, and then I did add just a tiny bit more to that edge before sewing it together so that it had the squish factor that I wanted. What I really did was just kind of test how squishy I wanted it, push some of the stuffing towards the back, and added a little more stuffing towards where that front hole is, where I'm adding the stuffing at. And to be honest, once I got to this point, I was having so much fun just squishing the stuffy. I couldn't stop just turning it and squishing it and playing with it. And I just love the way that this little plushie is turning out so far. It really is turning out to look quite a bit like the front photo, which I am very happy about. The instructions just stated to tie a knot on all 4 corners. So what I really did was I just kind of went in through the bottom and then in through the top to kind of secure the top to the bottom. And then I tried to kind of form a little bit of a knot on each corner. And then instead of cutting it, I went ahead and worked my needle back through the graham cracker all the way to the next corner, and I had enough of this yarn left over on the top and bottom that I was able to tie it together with the light brown yarn from the graham cracker all the way around on the top and the bottom. Since you didn't have to stitch it all the way across, this really did make sure that you had plenty of that brown yarn, that light brown yarn, to tie these together. And here he is in all of his squishy glory. I just love squishing this thing now that it has the perfect squish factor. That's what I love about making your own amigurumi, is you can make it with however much stuffing that you like. All right, y'all, so it took a little bit longer than I had anticipated to complete this cute little s'more. So I'm going to do a separate video for the boba tea one, but I want to switch it up a little bit and try the pattern with some different yarn and a different size crochet hook. So this is the review that I'm going to give you today, is for this cute Marshy the s'more. And look how much it looks like the package. I have made a few amigurumis, but I haven't made a lot. I've made some of the Woobles kit, which showed me how to sew stuff on, which made it really easy to sew all these parts together. And I have done a few other patterns in the past, and I can link some of the photos here so you can see what I've done in the past. I usually use Bernat blanket yarn or like a loops and threads type of yarn. The plush yarns is usually what I use. I don't usually use acrylic yarn when I make plushies. So originally we started out with this 3mm hook that is a plastic hook that came with the kit. I am not a fan of this hook. It's a little bit bendy and I was afraid that it could break. I used it just for the first couple of rounds until I decided that I would prefer to use a metal hook. So I switched to this Susan Bates hook. It is still a cheap hook, and I added an ergonomic handle to it to help my hand from cramping up. I really appreciated using this better. Using such a small hook on the acrylic yarn isn't something that I usually do, so I was struggling with it originally. However, I did not struggle with it as much after I had a little bit more practice using it. This is an $8 kit. I have spent $8 just for a pattern before, and I would say the pattern alone is worth $8. And that doesn't come with everything that you need to crochet something. So I would say that the value of the kit is definitely 10 out of 10. Overall, with a price point of $8, I would say that the kit is worth it because you have the pattern, the yarn to finish the plushie, and you even have a crochet hook and a needle if you don't have the size that is required for this pattern. As far as the quality of the materials themselves, I would say because it comes with a plastic hook and the acrylic yarn, I did have a little bit of a hard time getting used to working with it. I would say that the quality of the materials, I'm going to go a little bit lower and say more like a 7 out of 10. I would say for the instructions, since the instructions didn't specifically say how to whip stitch this together, I would say the instructions are mostly really good, especially when it comes to the instructions of crocheting everything and whatnot. But once you have to sew them all together, the directions don't really get very into detail about how to sew everything together, which is probably why it's labeled an intermediate kit. The directions, I would say, are probably more like an 8 out of 10, mostly easy to follow until it comes time to the assembly process. So you probably should have a little bit of experience assembling pieces and putting them together, or at least look up a few videos online and see how to whip stitch together. I did include some of my progress updates for you guys so that you guys could see how I stitched everything together, but since it wasn't very clear in the instructions, I wanted to be sure to give you guys a little bit of guidance as to how I stitched everything together to get this final look. This is what the plushie looks like from the front side and the back side and each of the sides. I think it came out overall very adorable. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to keep this or gift this to a child in the family. Maybe a niece or nephew is interested in this more than I am, but I really like it. It's kind of like a nice little therapeutic plush toy. Overall, I would say I really do actually like this kit, even though I did struggle with the acrylic yarn a little bit. It's not quite as scratchy as I thought it was going to be because I was having a hard time working with the yarn at first. I thought it was going to give it a scratchy material, but it does have pretty good stitch definition, as you can see here, and it is fairly soft. It's not the softest, which is why I like plush yarn better, but it is nice, cute, exactly what you expect it to look like when you get the kit. So overall, this is definitely an 8 out of 10 for recommendation. I highly recommend that you check it out. For $8 especially, the value is definitely there. Please feel free to check out her store, and again, that website is ohobbies.com, OHHOBBIES.com, and check out this kit and many others that she has, and please look forward to me doing this kit review in the future. So hopefully, if you are interested in that, you will hit like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And as always, have a great rest of your day.